Hey everybody, I was ready to start assembling my holiday wreath, but I thought I forgot one part, the filler material. So what we're going to do is, this is a very quick demonstration. I did a lot, I did a lot of prepare. Let's try that again. Take 1, 2, 3. I did a lot of prep work ahead of time to save some time. So what I've got here is I have a whole bunch of organic material. Organic meaning it used to be alive at one point. I have eucalyptus. I've got these beautiful thingamabobs from the Bruce Trail. This is more stuff from the Bruce Trail and flowers that have dried out. Pine cone, walnut. Ooh. Twigs and branches from trees. And I even have one that I made last year when I glued these little ladybugs on, which I'm also going to upcycle. So the idea with this is that once you make a wreath is that you need to put some filler material in there for gaps and stuff like that. Because all the ornaments that I made for the wreath, I'm not going to be using because I'm going for a specific color scheme and I'm using burlap to kind of fill in the blanks. So just to show you, a really great way to do fillers is just to take organic material and just paint it to give some additional shine. So what I did basically is you prime with gesso first. That's the key, is priming with gesso first. And then from there you just paint it. So this one here is these leaves here. And this is the ice blue. Now look how beautiful that is. This just adds such class to anything. So that's the ice blue. That's the dazzling metallics. I'll put that aside. These ones here, I think that's the only one I did. Yeah. So these ones here are the decor matte metallics. That's this one here. Okay. What you can also do is so gesso and then the metallic paint, and then while it's wet you can sprinkle some glamour dust, which is a super fine glitter. Now what I found is I was always using the dazzling metallics for that, but the shine was so similar, so sometimes the glamour dust got lost. I found that working with the flat metallic soft silver and the crystal works really well together. And the flat metallics vintage brass and the glamour dust gold work really well together. So there's enough of a contrast that you can see this. As well, if you have, okay, I don't have one that's damaged. I could say, let's pretend we're going to use this one. So this leaf is kind of damaged, and let's say that this particular piece on the leaf was a critical part to the leaf. I mean, you could use decoupage medium and all that stuff to try to assemble it. What you can also do is use the Decor Americana Decor Texture Metallic, which will do metallic and decorate at the same time because it is super thick. So think of this like your glue. And I've got this in rose gold, and I've also got the dazzling metallics in rose gold as well, because that was the color scheme, rose gold and silver. So you can use metallic paint, the metallic paste, to build up texture to sort of repair your pieces. If you don't have that, then you could also use modeling paste, but you'll need to thin it down a little bit because it's fairly thick, and then you can paint it with metallic paint. The texture sand paste, the Decor texture sand paste, would be best used on, let's say, the branches. Okay. So I want to just prepare a couple pieces for the wreath, and I'm going to be, let's just do it in rose gold. Let's do a couple pieces in rose gold. So let me get some of this stuff out of the way. I've got my glue gun ready. Oh yeah, and the walnut and the pine cone as well. The pine cones sometimes are a little bit easier if you spray paint them, but you know, depending on where you are in the world, sometimes spray painting isn't an option. Right now it's not for us because it's so cold outside. So a quick tutorial on that. So the gesso, and I'm gonna have to replenish this. So this is the gesso where I added some distilled water to it to thicken it up. So all you're going to do is apply your gesso to the piece, and it helps strengthen it. This is already splitting. So that's fine. So I can use it as 2 pieces. And you can even do this on newspaper so you don't dirty your table. So that'll dry, then I'll flip it over and I'll do the other side as well. Now, one finish that would look really nice on this is the Chalky Finish. Now, the colors that I would have loved to have used for this in the Chalky Finish, I don't have. Okay, so that's the gesso. Even a gesso by itself is actually quite nice. So that's done. And then the Eucalyptus Leaves. If you want to use the piece as a whole, that's fine. Otherwise, you can just snip it. And then, I mean, it doesn't take anything major. You can just paint it like this. The eucalyptus, I usually have to prep with gesso because Joe doesn't like the smell of eucalyptus, and this helps cut down the smell. Okay, so you just do that. Okay, and it takes a little bit of time. I mean, I can even break off a leaf, and all this stuff is just filler. Okay, and then you can just paint that and then tuck it into something. Okay, I'll put that aside. The branches, I've already demonstrated that, fairly easy. You just basically paint the gesso on top and boom, it's done. So you gesso your piece first. So it prepares it for paint because it's organic, and then you would paint it. If you're using something like plastic or something like that, like plastic stuff from the dollar store, you may need to sand it or test it to see if the gesso will actually stick. Some of that plastic stuff is really glossy and shiny, so you basically have to experiment. So while I have my scissors, I want to just going to cut a couple pieces off. And all these rough parts here, I'm not worried about that because it just adds texture. But if you got pokey stuff on there, then yeah, you need to sand that off so you don't get hurt. And thinned down gesso is great for the branches because it gets right into the nook and crannies of all the little holes. So once it's painted, then we can turn around and find one that we can actually paint. Let's use these ones here. This isn't quite dry yet, but I do want to do something with the rose gold. Oh, and you know what? Let me paint this rose gold without prepping so you can see what it looks like. This here, I'm only going to do a few. I'll do the rest off camera. I should see if they have the, I don't think they do, but the actual flat metallics in the rose gold. Because this one here now is more semi-transparent, the brown is showing through. That doesn't mean it's wrong. It just gives a different effect. So if you want the metallic to be as vibrant as possible, you need to prep with gesso first. Or if you don't have gesso, then white acrylic paint. That gives quite the dark finish. So now let me go over to this one. Where is this dry? See, there's the difference. So that's the difference. Okay. When you're doing your prep work with gesso, make sure everything's dry first, because if you apply metallic paint over gesso, you're going to lose your metallics. Okay, so just, you can see this is cracking, which is fine. I'm expecting that. Again, this is just filler material. And let that dry, then do the backside. Same thing with this here. So you're just gonna paint it with the metallics. So what I want to do is if we just take this one here, I'm going to use the texture medium now to build up a little bit of strength. So I've shown a few. Then what I'm going to do is off camera, I'm going to paint the whole batch there. And then I'll show you what they look like when they're done. So I can use this to mold and model the actual leaf. This takes a lot of time, but it's worth it if your piece is going to be like an heirloom piece. I'm building texture on that. Make it as thick as you want or as thin as you want. The thicker, the longer it'll take to dry. Okay. And then just put that somewhere. Ah! Put that somewhere. Same thing with, let's say, the branches. If I needed to fill that stuff in, I would use a modeling paste, because that would take a lot of metallics, and I believe the metallics are more expensive than modeling paste. Use modeling paste to fill it in, even wood filler, but I could still use this to fill that in. Make sure whatever you're working on has already dried out. And look at that beautiful texture in there. There's so many different things that you can do. Oh, I want to keep this part. I'm going to have to break that. I want to put that into some jewelry. So it just gives a real... Oh, and palette knife on paper and then dip into that paint. Don't be dipping directly into your jar and then going onto something organic because you don't want to contaminate your paint. Do as I say, not as I do. So look at all that. Look at all that texture. Isn't that beautiful? So there's lots of things. You can metallicize anything. Metallicize. Did I invent that word? Metallicize? There we go. Okay. So I'm going to, off camera, prepare a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, you know what I didn't demonstrate? Hold your horses. Hold your horses. Yeah, I can do it on this one. How to, well, since I've already got rose gold out, let's use the rose gold with the glamour dust. I didn't show you that. Use the same brush, and it has to be wet, so you got to work relatively fast. But you can do this technique on anything. Paint and then sprinkle some glamour dust. Some of you may say, well, why can't you just use glitter? Glitter, well, depending on where you get your glitter, glitter's pretty thick, and sometimes it's just too much. The glamour dust is a fine powder. Be careful you don't use too much, though, and whatever you do, don't sneeze. Just a little bit. See? Just a little bit. Gorgeous. The other thing you can do now, you really shouldn't when it comes to what the product's being used for. You can use Decor Americana spray, let's say a matte spray or whatever, or the triple thick spray. Spray your piece and sprinkle a little bit of that, just a little bit, and that'll, so for pieces like this, you can do that. The other thing is that the triple thick and the Americana spray is meant to be as a protective spray, like a varnish spray. So you're really not supposed to add stuff to that, but it works for me. It works for me. The triple thick is indoor use only, though. You have to make sure you remember that. But if you want to do something for outdoor, you can use the decoupage outdoor medium and just maybe just brush it on and then sprinkle. Even the Deco Art media matte medium you can use as add with water into a spray bottle for fixative, but that's not for outdoor use. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can work the products. Just keep in mind that when you're adding glitter to varnish after the fact, it's really, you're not really supposed to do that, but the effect is just the same. All right, so I'm going to go and finish some more pieces, and I will see you in probably in about a half an hour. So everything is dry. I waited a day just to make sure, and I gave some pieces an extra coat, and I threw in a couple of extra things to kind of help boost some ideas for you on how to use your filler material in a wreath, but not even just a wreath. You could flower arrangements and stuff like that. So let's go down to the table, and you can see that I've got everything. So you definitely can see the color scheme here: rose gold and silver. That's the color scheme. So all the leaves are all with the beautiful matte metallic finish. And I forgot, in the rose gold, I did have a matte metallic finish on that. This is the shiny, but you can tell there's a much more shine on this. That's Dazzling Metallics. Did the branch. I did a pine cone. I even threw in some of that crystal glamour dust on here. The little branch with the ladybugs. See how they're painted? See, now it's not so cutesy anymore. I was going to actually paint little dots and, you know, for the ladybugs now. I'm going to leave it because I'm going to put, you know, I can put the wreath together and see how the filler material works with it. Then I can either add, remove, or adjust, because that's really the only ways when your arrangement starts to speak to you. This one here is a combination of the silver and rose gold. It was a leftover paint, so I didn't want to throw away, so I just used it on that. And this was the branch from all these leaves. I've got all these ones here. Some of these have the gold glamour dust on them. And I've got some of the little spikies. This branch is from these things here. I pulled all the leaves off. These are some of the eucalyptus. You can see this is where that texture metallic comes into place. See, now they're nice and strong. Like they're flexible. They bend slightly, but they're nice and strong. I did a walnut. I also painted a walnut. There's a little bit of leftover glamour dust here. Now the other stuff I'm throwing in here, I've got some of these little rhinestones. They're not rose gold, but they're the closest things. And this I can add to some material that's really plain if I want to add, you know, add some additional bling to it. So that's kind of like the scheme there. I've got these rose gold push pins, which I won't use them for the push pin feature, but more for the little balls on the end. I also have downstairs paper clips, binder clips. Picked these up at the dollar store. This was $2 for that. And here the rhinestones, I've got round and I've got square. Now the round ones, when I look at these, I don't know if you can tell, these look more of a creamy color. These looks more like glass. So, you know, I can add that in if I want. So what I like to do now is bring out the wreath that I do have and show you how you can take your custom painted filler material and just push that wreath up a couple of notches to take it from kind of boring to glam for the holidays. All right, so I've got the wreath on the table. Now let's take our hand painted filler material and put it in. So I've got a walnut here. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to use it. I just love the look of that. I'm going to be dry fitting everything. I love the pine cone. It's a little big, but it could go here depending on where I want to keep the focus. I do want to keep the wreath pretty simple, but I am just loving all this bling. So the pine cone, if I could get Joe to do it, and he said no, to cut it in half here, then we could have, you know, put it right on. But it's unfortunately, it's not really going to go anywhere, so I may not be able to use it. So what I did with these leaves as well is I split them in half. See, with the decor metallics on here, it holds everything together so it doesn't like shatter. So and it makes them thinner. Makes them nice and thin. So now just the dry fitting is just putting them in. That one is, I want some glitter on that. Putting them in just to boost up, and I'm going to be doing everything in threes and trying to have them where they cascade. Now with the organic material, it's a little bit harder because it is natural. Here's a nice big one like that. You know, just then you can stick with whatever colors you want. I may stick to the silver just here because that's the focal point, but I'm going to pop in a little bit of silver up here so things look like they fit properly. So I'll put a little bit of silver there. I've got some of the eucalyptus, painted eucalyptus here and here. And you know, I just realized I didn't do any that were silver. I didn't do anything that were silver. I can cover up this bead here. Okay. If then the rose gold seems to be a little bit too close to the burlap, so I can turn around and I can change it to silver. That's a bit thick. I don't want to get my head in the way, so I can't see. And we've got the lights all set up. I'm not sure if they're gonna work, because the unfortunate thing is the ones that I picked up, I need this to curve a bit more. The ones that I picked up, you have to go through a setting of 8 settings before you can turn it off. 3 of the settings, the lights blink so fast, and it's quite disturbing. It's like you kind of just have to shake your head. Everything's gonna go silver here. And really with this stuff here, you just play with it. Oh, you know what I want to do? Hang on a second. Oh, here, this will be a little bit better. There we go. I don't want to get my head in the way. There, look how pretty that is. And maybe cluster that there. Ah, it's glued. There we go. Cluster that there. And yeah, we'll keep some of the silver. We'll do the silver. I'm going to find ones that are nice and bent. That's a nice one. Put it right there. Whoops. Yeah, I should have painted some of the, well, if I get my head in the way, I'm sorry. I should have painted some of the actual whole pieces in silver. I don't know why I didn't. I just forgot. Okay. Oh, that's the bottom. That's not the top. Let's get a little. There we go. Okay. I'll leave that. Oh, here. Oh, I like this. This is. I split this up and it's stuck together. I'm partial to the rose gold. What if I do a mix? If I do a mixed metal piece. Like that. And one more silver in the back. Let's do that. And some of the pieces I used wire, some of them I used the glue gun. And that was just because it was easier to handle. Okay, what about that? See the Deco Art Metallics really adds some nice flexibility to this. There we go. See the difference it makes? And then you just keep going. You just keep building it up. And I'm going to separate these again because I've got them all mixed up. Well, what I want to do now I'm going to commit to this. I'm going to glue it down. And then I'm going to take this little guy here. Which side's the good side? Go. What else have we got here? Looking to see, make sure. Not sure what I'm going to do with that. I love that walnut. Love that walnut. How it's kind of tucked in. No, I like it here. I like it there. But do you have some ideas now? What? Oh, where was this? Oh, shoot, right here. So do you have some ideas now? How you could paint some filler material to really boost up, and this goes even beyond the holidays. Oh, where was this? Oh, shoot, I can't remember. Well, it's going here. Do you have some ideas now how you can enhance some of your home decor for not even just the holiday, but for throughout the rest of the year, just by hand painting some pieces. And I mean, you can really do some nice things. Let's get a little bit of silver in here, only because we only have that one batch of silver. I'm going to go commit to this right away. I'm going to commit to that right away. Just taking one piece and splitting it up. Okay. I really wish we could use that pine cone. Oh well. Okay. So let's work with that. And now the branches. So how I'm going to get around this here. So I'm going to turn this a little bit like that. So now it's going to be a C-shape composition. And I'm going to integrate. Now I'm going to do another dry fit because I had already done a dry fit on this. I'm trying to think if it was in here. I'm trying to think. I think I had that. Yeah, I had that fused right here, so it covered up the branch, so it looked a little bit more natural. The other thing I can do is do that, something like this, and take the other branch, something inside. Think about doing something like that, but she has to go way, way, way over here. I don't want to break this branch quite yet. No, I'm not liking that. I liked it better like this. Even if it's covering the bird a little bit, I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about that. I had a dry fit done and it fit just perfectly. And now it won't fit. If I was smart, oh, I would do that. There you go. There you go. If I was smart. Seems almost too simple, right? Where's the other little branch? I really wanted to use this. I really wanted to use that. Okay, that's actually not bad right there. And then, you can choose that if you want to put some little rhinestones Well, where'd that go? You can choose whether or not you want to put little rhinestones on the wreath. That's complete. Now what's going to happen when we put the lights on? That's just going to shine like mad. It's going to look beautiful. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the stones. I'm actually going to have to glue them down. I'm going to put the stones, sugar. I'm going to put the stones where the circles are of the berries. Oh God, these are small. I think I'll do this part off camera. So I'll put some, and I'll intermingle some of the pink and some of the silver. Like that. And then it's a matter of the lights. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's going to fit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is glue this part down right in there. Commit to it. This whole wreath you can put together now, together though, without committing to gluing. You can just pin it. There we go. And then, do I even need to put the eucalyptus? I thought the eucalyptus was kind of pretty. And that's why, because there was so many elements in here, is to keep some of the elements in a flat metallic and a shiny metallic. So off camera, I'm going to go and put the rhinestone beads on, then we'll come back and see if the lights will fit. So the last thing I was going to do on this was glue the walnut in, and I don't know what happened. My leg twitched. I squeezed the glue gun and glue went all over my hand and my thumb. I'm going to have a massive blister now. Ran water over my finger, my whole hand here for a good 10 minutes. The paint is just starting to set in now, so I'm going to finish this up. But if it wasn't for burning myself, I wouldn't have come into the room not paying attention and knocked over one of the containers I have for the gifted items. And what falls on the floor is some really interesting stuff, which I'm going to add to the wreath. So let's go down the table. So I've got everything pretty well glued down. I've got some extra pieces in here. I hope I can remember who this is from. Burlap leaves from Kathleen. This beautiful, beautiful heart from Allison. Little metal pieces, or little silver cutout pieces here from Annie. Oh, goodness gracious, I've got all these stuff. And these cutouts from Cheryl. These are white. I'm going to leave them white, and I'm going to just place them here just to show you what they would look like. These would have to be sealed, but these are holly. But just look how just keeping them white, how it just really boosts up the look. Just, it's winter. It just really looks like winter. Look how beautiful that is. How that just really boosts it up. I've got the stones all the way around, and these are actually stuck on the table now. So I'm not sure about the lights. I think there's just too many. I'm going to show you what they look like. Let me just glue this down first. And I guess timing kind of works out where, we're getting close to the end of the year. I was hoping to film. There was a seascape shadow box I wanted to do. I wanted to paint. I was going to make it as a 3D. I wanted to do that, and it looks like I might not be able to. My hand's going to have to recover once it blisters up, which is really gross. It really is gross. Now, one thing I can do, if this is not going to fit in my door, I can put it on the inside of the door. Then I can do the lights. But Joe can't stand Christmas lights. He doesn't like lights. And I put that over there. But yeah, so these are actually really pretty. I'm going to seal these and put them in. So I'm going to take these out for now so I don't damage them. Cheryl sent me the most, you guys all send me the most amazing things. Oh, and Joe came in with the mail. Cheryl, thank you for the Christmas card. Cheryl makes the most beautiful Christmas cards. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, just to show you probably the trouble with the lights. It's huge. There's a lot of lights here. The unfortunate thing is I think it's too many. This is way, way, way too many. Even if I were to wrap it around the wreath, it's too many lights. This is crazy. This is crazy insane. I mean, look, that's too many. But what I want to do is just show you. And lights is another thing that, you know, it's a really personal thing. I just wanted to show you what it would look like with the stones. This is why I like gluing things down. And I waited too long to get the lights. I waited too long. And ideally I would just wrap this around everything. Let's just go right about here. Okay. Now, I need you guys to watch your eyes because the initial blinking, like I said, it's a weird setup the way this is. What can I cover this part off so it's not distracting? Let me just cover this here so you don't see additional lights. I've got rhinestones everywhere. All right, so I have to see. One is combination. So watch your eyes. If this stuff bothers your eyes, just close your eyes. So that's that. In wave. Did it change? This is sequence, I think. Slow glow. I like this one. It's just, it gets brighter, then it gets dimmer. Chasing flash. Oh, I don't like that one. Slow fade. Twinkle flash. That's too much. I'm going to get off that. Steady on. And then off. That's kind of cute. But see the difference? Now, I'm going to turn the lights off in the main thing. Okay, let me turn the overhead light off. And I'm going to turn my main light off. Oh. Okay, that's two. You can't really see. There we go. But see? You can see where some of the reflections are in the stones. Really pretty, eh? Alrighty. So, there we are. Oh my goodness. So although the lights would be really nice, oh, and some of them aren't on. Oh yeah, they are. I mean, that's a lot of lights. I still have all that left over, so not going to be using them. Okay, so watch your eyes. Going to turn them off. I have to go through each. I like that. I have to go through each setting to turn them off. There we go. All right, so that's it, you guys. We've put it together. Now, again, with wreaths, the filler material, I think, honestly, the filler material is what really makes the wreath because you can so customize it. The ornaments themselves, you don't want to put too many. That's why I focus on just the three main ones and then the bird here and then this here. This is the focal area here, although, you know, this could be the focal area, but I really wanted this to be the focal area with the word joy. I added some additional sheer material here. I added a few little ribbons here. I ran out of everything, so I'm going to have to hit Len's Mill for some more stuff. Although Joe said no more. You have to use what you have. But there we go. I really hope this fits in the door. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Look how red my thumb is and it's swelling. because of that. The last thing I glued down. But anyway, so I hope that you enjoyed this. So I would, now we're getting close to the end of the season, or close to the holidays. So I would really, 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 really love to see pictures of your wreath. So please feel free to share them with me as well. The filler material that you made, because it's very personal to what you have. Can you I would love to see separate pictures of just that filler material and what you used to create that material. The paints, mediums, if you use glitter, rhinestones, whatever you used for the filler material, because that way it'll help spark ideas in other people watching the lesson on different ways they can make filler material, because there's some things that I'm sure that I could have used inside the house that I didn't even think of. And sometimes it just takes seeing something being done before you get an idea sparked. So post your pictures at the community link below. And I really hope that you enjoyed this lesson. And until I see you in the next one, stay inspired.